You know when the world really lost it? I always say, I swear to fucking God, because that's where I'm at this point. I'm God. And I've been fucked by humans. I swear to fucking Christ. And then I say, Jesus fucking Christ. Because Jesus is the man who fucking gouged out God's eyes. Then they put him in a Christian book. So like Jews don't believe in Jesus. I like them. I just can't read the Torah. So now how do I explain it to all the stupid fucking humans? That the Chinese government came in to Elizabeth. One last ditch effort. They said they bought the ticket to hell and they wanted the entire case file to defend themselves against this Catherine the Great God. That is Elizabeth's sworn enemy apparently too. And the fucking useless piece of shit Elizabeth and her men. Give it right over. And here we are. Ticket to fucking hell. You know what they did call in though, by the way, along the way, on the descent into hell? They called to the table some piece of shit man to back up Elizabeth's whatever she did when she fucked up multiple times. I come in from guardianship as Catherine, as Victoria, as Anne, as the embodiment of Nicole that will be present in the future, having the problem from guardianship and galaxies elsewhere into human form. I advise, and so do my whatever, that actually keep me safe before I'm human. And we have a conversation. They call to the table this disgusting, ugly man in his 70s. Then they tell him that that's my future father on this ticket to hell, thanks to Elizabeth. Because the ugly man that I fucking hated across the table, same man I live with now, on Father's Day, he shaved off his entire beard. He says, I want a totally new me, a totally new tomorrow. And I told him how totally I fucking hated him. Right to his face. I told him that day too, in front of Elizabeth, how much I fucking hated him. That I wish he could die right after he electron transports me and starts the ignition starter of my human embodiment. The man could fucking fall over and die, so can Elizabeth, and nobody would miss either one of them. In fact, it might actually save the rest of the world from having to go 41 years into a fucking future that was known about, and we were actively trying to prevent. So she calls in as her God's witness, my electron transporter, enemy of my state, and enemy to the state of consciousness. I said anything that that man says, I do not stand for. That's all Elizabeth. That's her programming, the problem that I'm being delivered to, and she is the exact reason why I'm being thrown into hell. And the man that sits next to her, that they claim is my father, is a fucking ticket to hell that Elizabeth bought to keep herself in a crown and totally ignore the man that sits next to her, because she won't even have a human conversation in Manifesto. We had it in Manifesto, being the descent into the hell on the way in that the guardianship uses. Just in real life, in the manifest, where he walks around. He's never met her. Never spoken to her. Yet she used him as her God's witness to keep promoting the more dangerous Chinese takeover of the entire world. As I forewarned, and I made Manifesto, and I gave paperwork to other area humans. So when I was born, I wasn't stuck with the Elizabethan Manifesto problem of the man that has never met her in real life, never spoken to her, never met her, never had a conversation, never been approached by any of her men, never been giving money, never been given partnership, totally unacknowledged. She used my father to get her agenda pushed and to save herself, her son, her grandson, and her granddaughter. Totally totally didn't give a shit about God, about the rest of the world or the planet. She just stood up for the Chinese man from the Orange Square, taking over and continuing to gouge out God's eyes so she couldn't help man. That's how manifesto works. You're in a hole in time and space and you're interviewing the living. I'm a god. Doesn't matter whether my body arrives after or before. Still me. Still conscious. Still interviewing the same living being. Still telling you if that man is what my father looks like in the future, I fucking hate him. Whatever postage stamp we gave to the interview with Elizabeth. Same fucking woman. In Manifest. Saying the exact same thing about how much she fucking hates Elizabeth and her father. Because they are useless pieces of shit that sold humanity down the fucking toilet and left God in a really fucking bad position. So if I lose you all and you all die, I don't really give a shit. Are my people, my guardianship coming for me? I want out of this manifest. This should have never happened, and I was not part of this. I tried to warn against this. But Elizabeth just keeps fucking making it more dangerous for everybody.